Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Will They Find a Home? Sponsored by Geico. Susan has always wanted to live in a chateau.
I like a certain je ne sais quoi.
While Jake is more into the Cape Cod style home.
It's a classic look.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Susan and Jake found a Cape Cod style home where they will only speak French.
Bonjour, je t'aime, merci beaucoup, and cordon bleu.
You'll get better with time.
Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
The Hoop Collective Podcast.
I'm at our ESPN LA studios. You may remember that Bev did a couple of days of work for ESPN last year.
No, I remember. I was on with him.
He left a gorgeous Dolce & Gabbana suit here that is just spectacular.
You should wear it on TV today, Brian.
I do not believe it will fit me, only because the arms are too long. You're across the street. Come over and get it. It's got to be at least a $7,000 suit.
The Hoop Collective Podcast. Listen on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
One second remaining in a tie game. Hayes gets it in. Sadiq fires. Oh! Sadiq Bey just hit it. He nailed it.
Wow. That's how it sounded on 97.1 The Ticket as Sadiq Bey drilled a 3 at the buzzer to lift the Pistons over the Warriors 122-119 Wednesday night. It was the first 3-point game-winning buzzer beater by a Pistons player since Chauncey Billups. Of course, it would be Mr. Big Shot. March 03. Damn. Also against the Warriors. Elsewhere in the association, Kevin Durant's 44 points for the Nets weren't enough as the Bulls snapped their 12-game winning streak. That would be the Nets' 12-game winning streak. 6 different Chicago players scored in double figures. They themselves snapped a 2-game losing streak. Bulls did with the win. Bills safety DeMar Hamlin remains hospitalized in critical condition, but, quote, shows signs of improvement. They were observed Tuesday night, overnight into Wednesday, according to the team. The Bills said Wednesday in a statement that Hamlin, quote, is expected to remain under intensive care as his health team continues to monitor and treat him, end quote. Little bits of good news trickling out, and that's great news. Sports Center is presented by Progressive Insurance. Get a business insurance quote online in as little as 6 minutes. Visit progressivecommercial.com.
To all the ladies in the place with style and grace, allow me to lace these lyrical.
I mean,
I love it.
What's amazing?
The whole damn lyric. Yeah.
What's amazing?
Yeah. I mean, like
it's one thing to have a physical resemblance. It's another thing to sound just like dude.
That's me, man. Like I did that song for my rookie initiation when I came into the league.
Yeah. People must have been dying. Oh my God!
I was just just going in with it, man.
Yeah, and they let you do a cool song for your rookie initiation.
Yeah. I wasn't going to do anything but Biggie. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah. I was listening to y'all side y'all side conversation about raising your daughters and your kids and what
Talking
they got
to Damian Woody, by the way. We haven't introduced Damian Woody with us. Yep.
What's up, I was listening to y'all. I said, when my daughter go to USC at 17 years old, she gonna get a Ferrari out the wrapper. I ain't listening to y'all.
But that's different, Key. She's 17. It's different than being 7. There's a big difference. Like, if you raise them right, then at a certain point, they can get some stuff. We're talking about raising kids if you got a little dough and you not wanting to spoil them, you know?
Yeah, man. The problem is I got grown kids that you know, they already spoiled. I already messed it. I already messed it up. Man.
Yeah, you know what? Damien can say that, but if you hear about the institutions they attend, you know they did a great job raising those kids.
We did all right.
Exactly.
We did all right.
Yeah. That's a family of
cheap, man.
Huh?
Stop being cheap, man. Shoot, I got 7 kids, Key.
Yeah.
I got 7 kids, brother.
And you see my face?
Number 7.
And by the way, Damien's kids are graduating from the most elite institutions in the country without athletic scholarships.
Well, that's why Damien lifted all them weights and ran all them hills and did all of that.
Hey,
you can say that.
You played for Belichick for a long time, D. Wood. How do you think he's preparing for this game against the Buffalo Bills, who apparently will play on Sunday?
Well, I mean, listen, I think Coach Belichick is obviously, aware of how the unique situation that, that this game is, considering everything that we saw on Monday night, but also understanding that the ramifications of this game as far as the New England Patriots are concerned. They got to win this game, and I hope that, Miami loses. Miami loses to the Jets in order to get into the postseason. So it's a delicate balance, but knowing Bill, he's going to make sure that the guys are professional and focused on the task at hand.
Yeah, and I think that's the way you have to approach it, right? I mean, he understands the nature of the business and how delicate. And like I said to the guys earlier, Damon, however many years Bill has coached and however many players that he's been around, whatever that number is, he understands it.
Yeah.
And so you got to go about tough business and put your team in the best situation to win a game because you have a goal, and that goal is to make the playoffs. And just so happened, what happened on Monday night with the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals, Buffalo Bills are the team that is your next opponent. And it's going to be a tough one. He's feeling the same way many coaches across the country are about their players. And now he's faced with this situation, but I don't see him changing anything, doing anything any different than he normally would.
Well, and I would, Key, let me add this into this as well. It's going to be a highly, highly energized stadium up in Orchard Park. Mm-hmm. I mean, you talk, Key, you know this, and Jay, you know that sometimes you walk into a buzzsaw. Certain things happen. Certain incidences happen, whatever. I remember after 9/11. The week that we played after that unfortunate situation, and just the energy and emotion in a stadium, at that time. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like in Buffalo, with New England coming up there for a game that Buffalo needs to win as well.
That's right.
But I was saying this at the beginning of the show. I think a lot of times you have situations that galvanize teams, and there's like the power of why. Yeah. I actually think it makes the Bills more of a threat because now it feels like they're playing for something way bigger than just themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously we've all echoed how unfortunate the incident with DeMar Hamlin. We all praying for him, but you're absolutely right. Sometimes these situations, they do galvanize a team, and you can literally ride that momentum to bigger things as well.
You know what, D. Wood? I'm reminded of everything to me comes back to some Yankees thing, right? But I'm reminded of 01, right after 9/11. Remember the World Series was pushed back.
Yep.
And that's why Mr. November with Derek Jeter and all that. And the Yankees looked like the team of destiny. And it's New York, right, where it occurred. And they're rallying back in these games. I was at a couple of them against the Diamondbacks. Oh, this is a team of destiny. And actually, Game 7, Mariano Rivera, greatest pitcher ever, is on the hill to close it out. They score off Rivera, and the Diamondbacks won in Game 7. You know what I mean? Sometimes I remember Kurt Schilling wore the thing, destiny. He's like making fun of like that. Like in the end, you got to go out and play the game. Like it's even with all that good feeling of momentum, both teams are desperate to have it. You know, let the chips fall.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you still got to go out there and execute, right? Like, these are professionals out there. As hard as it, may be emotionally, you still professionally got to go out there and execute and do and go out there and do what you got to do.
So yesterday I was at home watching this interesting show on from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern. This just in, handsome host right here next to me, Max Kellerman. And I saw you on the show as well. And Max is doing his top, tier QBs.
Yeah.
And can you just take me through what was going through your mind? Because you walked away from the camera, you almost walked off set.
Yeah, man. It's just like I looked at it. Obviously tier 1 he had Patrick Mahomes. Tier 2 he had Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. So I'm like, okay, I can, that's cool, whatever. And then tier 3, I just saw this name down there. I saw, Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Justin Herbert, and then he threw Daniel Jones, and I'm like, what? What in the hell? And you got Daniel Jones in there?
Who should be there instead of
Daniel Jones with Josh Allen and Justin Herbert? I'm like, see, this is Max New York Giants. Homerism coming in out there. But I did. Max will tell you, I did tell him that Daniel Jones has had a really good year, like considering. Basically, no threat on the outside, and what head coach Brian Daboll asked of him, he's had a really good year, and he's guided his team to the postseason. So, and he come up with all the stipulations like, very recency bias. Like, so basically, we're just taking a small piece of the schedule.
But D Wood, I ask myself this: can you win a Super Bowl with a quarterback playing like that? Yes, you can. If he doesn't have the weapons and they're in the playoffs, if Daniel Jones plays like that, you can win a Super Bowl with that guy. I think. Key, am I wrong?
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think the Giants can win the Super Bowl?
Nah, because as you said, they have nothing on the outside. They have nothing on the inside either. Like Bellinger is their best pass catcher.
If their defense, if they had a Super Bowl winning defense, they can win with their offense. If they had a Super Bowl winning defense, I mean, think about it, D Wood. You look at some of those. You look at the Raven teams when they were winning under that defense. Yeah. The offense was hot garbage.
Right.
But the defense, they had a running back in Jamal Lewis, and they had a running back in Ray Rice, and that was pretty much it. And other than that, offensively, you could cancel Christmas. It was all about that D. So you could win it, but their defense isn't.
It's not
up
that
there like
good.
that.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not great.
But don't you think that's more challenging these days due to the fact of how analytics have changed the game and how these guys are scoring so many points?
Yeah, well, no. The Giants' defense they also haven't been. Now that they got their best pass rushers healthy, when you start looking at that roster, they got 2 big D tackles who can get after it. Yep. They got a threat on the outside, 2 threats with Ojulari and Thibodeau. So they got 4 dudes who can go get the quarterback. 4 guys.
Right, and their defensive coordinator likes to bring a lot of pressure
on
top of that. So, it definitely could be an interesting situation for the Giants.
That is Damian Woody, ladies and gentlemen. NFL analyst who was skeptical of my initially skeptical.
Wasn't the only one.
Of my tears, but ultimately saw the wisdom in it. Thanks, D Wood. We don't need to comment after that. That's fine.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Green Bay has won 4 straight. They can clinch a playoff berth with a win over Detroit. What's the biggest reason for the Packers' turnaround this season? That's coming up.
Whether you rent or own, Geico makes it easy to bundle home and car insurance. Go to geico.com today.
The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny.
Say you're Sean Payton. I'm going to read to you the jobs that are likely to be open. So the Broncos, we don't think the Raiders won. The Colts, the Texans, I think it's fair to say. The Cardinals, and then the Saints.
I actually saw, I don't know if it was coping or not. I saw a couple Saints fans being like, why doesn't Sean Payton just come back to the Saints?
Listen and subscribe to The Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Chris Canty and Chris Carlin are Canty and Carlin.
It is remarkable when you see this entire league and anybody who has stepped on the field come together the way they have in support of Damar Hamlin. I have to tell you, you're the first person I thought of as this is unfolding.
It's something that's in the back of your mind. The fact that you could walk onto the football field and you might not walk off. That's in the back of your mind. But then you also have a mentality that you're going to defy the odds. If you don't have that mentality, then you're probably not going to make it to the highest level of sport. If you don't think you're going to defy the odds, you're not going to get a scholarship to college. If you don't think you're going to defy the odds, you're probably not going to get drafted or be a part of the National Football League. It was the scariest moment that I've ever experienced being a part of football. And Carlin, I struggled to process it, so I'm sure that the players on both sides of that game struggle too.
Canty and Carlin, weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio. You can also listen and watch on the ESPN app. The College Football National Championship, presented by AT&T. The top-ranked Georgia Bulldogs look to defend their title.
We didn't build this program hoping for one-year wonders.
While the TCU Horned Frogs are one step from one of the more improbable runs in college football history. Number 1 Georgia, third-ranked TCU. Coverage begins Monday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker.
Headlines and hot takes, they have their place. But at our podcast, ESPN Daily, we don't just skim the surface of sports. Dude, I mean, this clearly transcends blood feuds, rivalries, sports. This is something far, far deeper than that. I'm your host, Pablo Torre, and every day, we try to dive into the stories behind the actions.
The picture of him in the dugout afterwards just looked like a guy who had his heart ripped out.
Listen to ESPN Daily, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Pablo Torre, host of the podcast ESPN Daily. Every weekday morning, I will bring you the best sports story you'll hear all day. Today on ESPN Daily, we talk to Sam Borden, who is in Brazil to reflect on the life of Pele, the guy who set the template for the modern sports superstar. So follow us and listen wherever you get good podcasts.
Now that I'm thinking it through, I just ain't fell in love because I'm way too awake.
Keyshawn, J. Willemax, ESPN Radio.
You know, when we get ready, I got issues, man.
With what?
With just,
Drake?
No. That too. No, I got issues. I was just sitting around just thinking, you know, as we was playing this music and stuff, about the prom in high school and, you know, no. Obviously, all of us.
We went to multiple proms, Key, yes.
Yeah, multiple proms.
You were the dude that other dudes hated. Like, man, why's she bringing him to our prom?
You don't even go to this school, man.
I was a serial prom dater. They had me in the hallways warning, beware. You know, the whole, the prom. Ooh, man, unbelievable.
Well, yeah. You know who's been to one prom?
Oh, God.
Get out of here. That was incredible. You know who's been to one prom? He's only been to one. You guys been to multiple.
Are you not entertained?
Aaron Rodgers. Only been to that prom that one time.
I'm sure Aaron has been to multiple proms.
No, he's talking about the Super Bowl.
I know what he's talking about.
One.
Oh, okay.
So he was discussing.
I don't know if he's been to multiple proms, though.
You don't think?
Who?
Now, he doesn't look like a serial prom guy, though.
He could be.
Nah, you got to have a certain, like Dak Prescott's been to many.
Joe Burrow.
Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts for sure.
This is the game we should be playing.
Who's been to multiple
quarterbacks
proms?
who've been to multiple proms? That's the game of life right now.
Is there any correlation between how many proms you go to and how many Super Bowls you win?
Jimmy G's definitely been to proms and after prom videos. He's done it all.
Jimmy G for sure.
Facts.
I'm just thinking. Go ahead, Mac.
I would like to let the producers know. For the record, I've tried 3 times, but we're talking proms.
This is more important, Max.
I agree,
and it's fine. I mean, look,
another one.
And then some people have done other. I bet y'all ain't never done this one. Bet you hadn't gone to the cousin prom too. Look at y'all. I was so fine they had to take numbers to get me to go to prom. I'm just telling you.
Try
they were standing in line.
Keep trying, Max. See if you can get it this time.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is the Packers quarterback, and he has been to the NFL version of the prom, and that would be the Super Bowl one time in his career. And there's a lot of speculation, or a lot of people,
Is he 1 for 1?
He's 1 for 1.
Okay.
But Favre at least went to 2, right? Like, is Rodgers even going to go down as the greatest Green Bay quarterback of all time? He discussed whether or not this was going to be his last season, Aaron Rodgers, in the locker room. Listen to this.
I'm going to take some time after the season. I got a lot of great memories here at Lambeau, and hopefully can add another one on Sunday.
Do you expect that thought at all to go through your mind on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Just because you don't know what the future holds. But when I think about that, it's nothing but gratitude. Not remorse or sadness. Just gratitude for the time that I've been here, the amazing memories that I've had on this field. Been a lot of great moments. But, I'm still undecided. We're all undecided about the future. We're just going to enjoy Sunday night and hopefully have some more to play for.
He has had amazing numbers on the field. He actually, in a way, revolutionized the way people thought about the game because you couldn't throw 35-plus touchdowns and have single-digit interceptions before Aaron Rodgers showed you could do it, right? But it just doesn't sound right, guys. When he talks about the amazing numbers, the number's 1. He's been to 1 Super Bowl, right? That's the number.
Is he pulling the Brett Favre? Is he doing it? Is he implementing the same strategy about I'm not sure what I'm doing after every season again?
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, right?
When it comes to that, I'm just, whatever. I'm every season at the end of the season, I don't want to always hear, I got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I need to take some time to really think about either you playing or you're not playing, man. That's just that's the way I approach it. I look at it.
But what is he? But how does he answer that question? Key, like if someone's asking Aaron Rodgers, you're going to play next year. And he really legit doesn't know yet, right? Like he's like, the way I'm feeling right now. How would you do the media consultation thing? Tell me how to answer that.
You know,
sign a massive deal.
You know,
come on.
You know if you're gonna play next year. You know.
You think it's completely an act?
I can tell you a player that's not gonna play next year. Okay, I can tell you that by looking at how they played the previous year.
Well, but not always. Come on. Barry Sanders was killing the game, walked away.
But guys have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You can totally tell.
Megatron, I guess you have to play in Detroit to walk away at the height of your powers. I don't know.
Yeah, but Megatron walked away, but you could see he was banged up. You could see he was beat up on a constant basis. You could see the organization was not good with Barry Sanders. Aaron Rodgers, on the other hand, he's a different, unique guy, people say. I don't know him. I've only had 2-second conversations with him. It just would be hard for me to see Aaron Rodgers walk away.
I don't mind. I don't mind if you take time, but like you still got games left to play. So I just feel like there's ways we all answer questions every damn day where I can answer your question and deflect your attention away from what the real. Come on, man.
What we're picking up on is there's a way you say things publicly that reveals a certain self-centeredness that you don't want to hear from, like the quarterback, right? Of a friend. And here's Aaron Rodgers
right now. Why?
It's simple. All Aaron Rodgers had to do was say, "Man, I'm worried about the Detroit Lions right now.
Right.
I'll deal with next season." When this season's over with, right now we got a game on Sunday. We're on a mission.
Well, it goes on these long diatribes, man. Where I'm like, why even going down that path?
Also,
why even do that?
But then when you start to cite your individual numbers that you have achieved and how amazing the numbers are, it puts people off because they're like, hold up. So now you're talking about your accomplishments statistically. And immediately my mind goes to, well, wow, that's true what he's saying. But people are wondering about Super Bowls, dude.
I knew you was going to come.
Of course. That's what people are thinking about. And the reason is, Key, is because the Super Bowl is about the team, right? It's about the ultimate team goal. And the numbers that he's put up, really, it's just part of his resume about how great he is individually. But can you lead the team to the championship?
Well, but
that's
the
an
numbers,
oversimplification, but I think that's why people get that gut reaction.
His individual numbers was also the contributions of many other players.
As I said, oversimplification, Keith. So, I get it.
But nobody doubts that he's a superstar. It's just when you're a superstar and you feel the need to tell us that you're a superstar. Like that rubs people the wrong.
But could you imagine Tom Brady giving that
answer? Your glasses indoors, Jay?
Like wearing glasses indoors, Key.
Look at me, I'm a superstar.
With the hoodie on. I don't want anybody to recognize me. You're wearing a hoodie with glasses on.
Yeah, I ran into somebody like that the other night, and I was just like, yeah.
You're very important. You're so important you need to stand out.
It's like, oh God. All right. How about not having any of that on and sitting down at the table? Nobody would ever notice. But the fact that you look like you're up to something, we're all looking.
Square, just chilling.
Right? You look like you're up to something, so we're all looking now.
And it's the worst kind of thing because you're set under the guise of saying that you want to disguise yourself. You're in fact drawing attention to yourself. It's like an endless loop of vanity.
Like that video of Calabasas that I sent you guys where the little girl's talking about you want to be low key, but she has on all this Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, right.
It's like, come on, stop.
This is Keyshawn J. Willimax on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPNU. So, listen, it's a real thing. How will the NFL handle AFC playoff seeding? Of course, Damar Hamlin's health is the most important thing, but there are implications. That's coming up.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep your operation running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, Maria in Miami, and Jules in Troy, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with high-quality supplies for every industry, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 706-525-7720. That's 706-525-7720. 706-525-7720.
Find a home. Sponsored by Geico. Susan has always wanted to live in a chateau. I like a certain je ne sais quoi. While Jake is more into the Cape Cod style home.
It's a classic look.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Susan and Jake found a Cape Cod style home where they will only speak French.
Bonjour, je t'aime, merci beaucoup, and cordon bleu.
You'll get better with time. Bundling without compromise at geico.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Hoop Collective Podcast.
I'm at our ESPN LA studios. You may remember that Bev did a couple of days of work for ESPN last year.
No, I remember. I was on with him.
He left a gorgeous Dolce & Gabbana suit here that is just spectacular.
You should wear it on TV today, Brian.
I do not believe it will fit me, only because the arms are too long. You're across the street. Come over and get it. It's got to be at least a $7,000 suit.
The Hoop Collective Podcast. Listen on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Your home for Atlanta Falcons football. WIOL Waverly Hall. WIOL Columbus. 95.7 ESPN Radio.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Coley Harvey, ESPN national NFL reporter.
From the Bills, Damar Hamlin is still in critical condition.
Damar Hamlin is the most important thing right now, and we will continue to pray that he's going to make it through and be okay. Now, when we have the football bring up, when I look at the National Football League, and I look at Roger Goodell and the NFL and Troy Vincent.
About Damar's health at the moment, no, but it's just more, it's a nice thing to hear. And you know, and Adam Schefter is now with us. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning, Max. How you doing?
Doing well. Hope the same goes for you. I know you're covering a situation that is very upsetting, but little by little, as I've mentioned, the news that's trickling out has been positive, and that's a great thing. But what should we expect regarding the Bengals and Bills making up their game?
Well, I think the league knows that it's got to get something in place here before the weekend kicks off Saturday. So we're now on Thursday, 8 a.m., and I would think that in the next 24 to 48 hours, the league has to put some sort of plan in place so that the people involved in this weekend's games understand the football ramifications once we get past Damar Hamlin. You can't go into this weekend and not have clarity about how the NFL is handling the game. And I personally, nobody said this to me yet, just me reading between the lines, I'll personally be surprised if they make up this game. As somebody said to me this week, a couple of days ago, the game just has bad mojo to it, time to move on. And so now, if that turns out to be the case, the question becomes, what does the league do and how does it handle it? And I think there's a few different options out there. I think the league obviously will consider what's in the best interest of the league. I don't think it's as simple as, okay, well, they just don't play the game and here's the way it finishes, and Buffalo and Cincinnati played one fewer game than everybody else, and we go on from there. I think that there's some clever formulas that will be considered, right? Like, I'll give Matthew Hasselbeck the credit on this one. I thought it was highly intelligent, very progressive, and it wouldn't shock me if the league came up with something along the lines of this. But basically what you're talking about would be, that you call the Bengals and Bills a tie in the end. You do the seeding in a win percentage, if you follow what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. And then you take the win percentage, and the number one seed gets the choice of either home field advantage throughout the playoffs or the bye. The number two seed gets whatever isn't chosen. So the one and the two each get something. It may not be entirely fair, but it may be the most equitable solution. Now, I don't know that it's going to be that, but I think the league comes up with something that tries to be as fair as possible to all the parties who had something at stake in an unprecedented circumstance that the league has never had to sit through before. So, to me, the league will make a plan and put a plan in place here this week at some point. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's something along those lines. Something, whatever it may be, whatever they think is best. But I don't think it's going to be, oh, let's go make up this game after this week. I don't think it's going to be, we're going to base it off of, this week, nothing changes this week, and that game's just a wash or no contest, and we go from here. I think they're going to come up with something, whatever it may be next.
Mm-hmm. Adam, how much do you think the league is communicating this with both the Bills and the Bengals about what their desires would be?
Well, all I can go by is what Troy Vincent said on the conference call yesterday, that it has not come up one bit with the Bills and Bengals. The only thing that's come up with those teams is how the teams are handling this situation, how they're reacting to it, the mental health that's involved. I think people forget that, we're back to talking about how the scenarios are going to unfold, and I understand that because the games are closer this weekend. But from the NFL standpoint yesterday, Troy Vincent was saying he's only been talking to Sean McDermott and the Bills about how they're doing, how they're reacting. And think about this team that went through this incredibly tragic, traumatic experience on Monday night and is back in the building yesterday, back to work. Like, that cannot be normal. That cannot feel natural. And so I honestly don't think, T, that they're thinking or worried about whether they're making that game up, the Bills or the Bengals right now. And I think that they're worried about dealing with their organizations, how they're reacting to the events that they witnessed on Monday night. And I think that in the back of their minds, they're just saying, the league will tell us what to do here, and they'll wait for the league's announcement.
Adam Schefter, ESPN NFL Insider, the Adam Schefter podcast, of course. Thank you so much, as always.
You got it, guys. Have a great day.
All right, Adam.
Thanks, Shefty.
So, as I mentioned before Adam joined us, Adam tweeted earlier today that DeMar Hamlin's father, Mario Hamlin, addressed the entire Bills team on a Zoom call Wednesday to personally update everyone in attendance on his son, per source. Mario Hamlin informed the Bills that DeMar was making progress, and in the words of one source, quote, the team needed it. So, as I said, the news out of the Cincinnati hospital, where DeMar Hamlin is, has been good. It's nothing like, oh, he's out of the woods. That's not the case. He's in critical condition. But insofar as there is a development one way or another, there seem to be minor improvements. But, when you get 3 or 4 different reports of separate minor improvements together, they mark a trend in a direction. And as long as that arrow keeps pointing in the right direction, let's keep getting that good news.
You've heard it from Jordan Rooney, who is the family representative that spoke to us yesterday. You heard it from the father now, and Adam Schefter. I am personally, I know we are as a company, we are as a show, very happy that things are moving in the right direction. I still don't think that is just because it's moving in the right direction, that just kind of removes all the
Is it under 20?
I think it's not. Well, it's sort of hovering around. Depends on the day. It got down to 19.81 or something in the last test, and probably just edged up again by the end of the test. But yeah, Ollie Robinson in, angling into the pads of Azarani. He clips it to mid-wicket. There's no run. That's the end of the over. We've got 6 minutes till lunch. Give us a tweet or two.
Hombre Nuevo's with us. Says, good morning, wonderful Guerrilla Cricket. Imagine the mud bath and the carnage the kids' football would be if it was on there. Yeah, brilliant. Messages says, amazingly, the Met Office shows Sheffield as 2 degrees warmer than Sydenham and 5 degrees warmer than Epping. Come to Sheffield for the warmth. Isn't a slogan I had ever considered.
No.
Mark Zip's with us, our vinyl man. He says, greetings from Connecticut, not the shores of the Red Sea. For your correspondent in the 6th over, you can follow audio commentary on Guerrilla Cricket, jingles, interaction, knowledge, occasional spicy language, i.e. not TMS, and fun. So he's good. He's done an advert for us. Stephen Metherall doesn't like the Royal Family. He says, they're all fucking ridiculous. Talk about cricket.
Yeah, they all are fucking ridiculous. It's a ridiculous fucking institution, and we should be a republic. But you know, it's going to take a lot of people to decide.
Ooh, that. Too soon, Lara. What do champagne and English princesses have in common?
Don't know.
They both come in wooden boxes from France.
Oh, boom! That's harsh. I don't know if it's too soon. That was 20 odd years ago. Too short by Rayan, and pulled out to cow corner, and it'll be 4 runs. Yeah, that night. I've probably said this before, but that night, me and a mate were running a what would now be called a kind of rave thing on a party boat next to Chelsea Bridge, and we'd all taken too many, pills and whatever else goes on in those days. As that's defended back down the track, there's no run, and we all came back spammed at 5 in the morning. You can imagine, totally off your tits, and then you turn on the telly, and it's just Diana had died. We were sat there glued to the telly for about 2 hours, going, "Oh, fucking unbelievable."
Yeah, incredible.
Left alone outside the off-stump, decent ball. I like the fact that he gets out
where's
there.
the pizza?
Yeah. No, it wasn't that kind of. There wasn't that kind of drugs. It was the other kind. Mate, you're not.
I thought you were about to say me and a couple of mates were on scooters in Paris.
No, chasing them down. A little bit too short. Cut out to deep point, and there is no run.
It's noticeable, isn't it, that Stokes did get hold of him before the start of this over, and have a good chat with him, because he's going for 8 and over at the moment.
Yeah, he is. But again, I think they had Zahid Mahmood, who was going at 8 and over in the first test, and he's 33 and an experienced leg spinner in Pakistan.
Yeah,
it's not easy to bowl. You think it'd be a spinner's paradise, but it really isn't. Because that's cut out towards point, and there's no run, and his wickets are just fucking flat.
Yeah, but that message, it has to be coming through, and I'm sure will be coming through. Just keep going. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Just keep going.
I think so. We got bowlers at the other end. Eventually someone will make a mistake. You're batting at a guy who's got 7,500 test runs. You're bowling at, as that's worked into the leg side, and there's no run. And one of the best current, up and coming batsmen, stroke captain of Pakistan, who also has a test average of 47, and he's at home. So don't sweat it. Work yourself into a spell, and he'll get more overs, and I think he's, it's been all right. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount of action on the ball, but the wicket's flat, and even if he was getting loads of action, would it actually turn? I don't know. Leach is getting the odd one to turn, but maybe he's just concentrating on getting it out there at the moment.
Yeah, I think so.
Ross McDee's with us. Says, even Korea Gorillas. On the weather topic, once spent a week in northern Sweden making high altitude physics observations. One night the Celsius and Fahrenheit gauges matched. Cold of the dead. Amazing time though. And saw the aurora.
Is that what is that temperature? Is that defended, and there is no run? It's about minus 20 something or other, isn't it?
Jesus.
Where they match.
I was in Washington one winter, and they said with the wind chill at one point it was minus 20 odd.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the wind chill that when you get, I mean, this is it.
Wind
That's what
chill,
I was
that's
saying.
the killer, yeah.
That's what I was saying about Finland. It was quite still, so even though it was bitchingly cold, it's a really dry cold. It's when you get a wet, cold, northerly wind, and it's
bitter.
Exactly, it is bitter. Oh, now is that out? There's an appeal for a caught behind.
Well, England seemed determined on that. Robinson and Folkes.
Well, Folkes says he caught it. It's definitely looked like some glove on it. It was down the leg side. Another attempted strangle. It's Azhar Ali. He's gone to pull it, pull it round the corner. It's clearly some glove on it. It did seem to carry to me.
It looked like it carried.
He certainly got down. He caught it. It's a question of whether it came off the gloves or the arm, I guess. Jesus, who's the fat fucker as the umpire? It looks like he's pregnant.
Capital D.
Well, the umpires are given a soft signal as not out, but it is blind Joel Wilson, so
that means it's definitely out.
Yeah, it probably does. So we're going to have a decision pending. I don't know if it's a review by England or it's just an umpire's checking it.
It didn't look like they were reviewing it.
Definitely glove.
Definitely glove.
And it's gone off the picture, so we can't see whether it's carried. It looks like he's definitely got his hand underneath that, unless it's bounced. Definitely glove.
That's a glove.
Definitely glove. You could see that because it sort of popped a bit. And now we just need to see whether it's carried.
Is it wrong because it's Ben Folkes? I'm just presuming it did carry and he did catch it cleanly.
Well, there's another one. I mean, the thing about the South Kill one in the last test was it was always going down. I don't know. You can't see from behind.
We can't really see. We need to see it from the front.
You need to see it from the front. Here we go. Does he get down? Yeah, he gets his
gloves
underneath.
I'd say that's certainly out.
He's got his hands underneath the ball. He scooped it off the ground. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
That's
definitely out.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
He's got his hands together.
Really
I mean, the thing about the Pope one as well.
Hang on.
What?
Hang on. Does it bounce?
No, it doesn't. It goes straight into the gloves. That's definitely out, and his gloves are definitely underneath it. If this gets given not out,
I think it's second finger on the left hand. It's second finger in from the.
Look, just before. Watch.
No.
Bounce.
No, that bounced off his finger.
At that point. Yeah,
that's bouncing off his finger that's underneath. That's got to be given out. That's clearly out.
It'll be very unfortunate if they don't.
See, blind Joel Wilson gets it wrong again. Decision pending.
It's clearer than the Pope one in the last match. 100% clearer.
Well, I think that's going to be given out. We're saying decision pending on there. Decision pending, and it is out. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, very much so. You know, Joel Wilson, if he gets it wrong, whatever he says, you know it's the opposite. And we have to say goodbye to Azhar Ali. Goes for 45.
The crowd says you.
Lots of encouraging of Varane Ahmed as they go off the field. No one cares that he's gone for 45. England, 3 wickets for 117. It's quite an exciting first session. 117 runs.
They've got to be happy
3
with
wickets.
That, right?
Yeah, they have, I think. Only 25 overs bowled in it. But hey, partly because there was a wicket off the last one. A couple of decisions that take time. Azhar Ali will be upset. Last ever test, gets a 45, good innings off 68 deliveries, pretty quick. But yet again, a strangle down the leg side. Seems to be one of the ways that the pace bowlers can get it out. It's clearly out. You see the Pope one in the last innings, South Kill got it on the glove, and much like that it was going down, and the thing about it was that Pope came from above, didn't he? He kind of went down on the ball and kind of crocodiled it, whereas there Folkes did the classic keeping, got his hands low under the ball, and it got bounced off his gloves up into his palm. That's definitely out. Baba remains 30 not out of 31 deliveries going into lunch. Pakistan 117 for 4. Shafiq was out for 8. LBW Leach. Sharm was caught by Leach down at long leg, I suppose, by Wood. Sharma Sood getting underneath one. Got it maybe a little high or maybe a little low. The pitch has been a bit up and down. Was caught down at long leg, and Azhar Ali has gone there just before lunch, caught by Folkes down the leg side. For Robinson, who gets his first wicket of the game. I think England will be reasonably happy with that, Ben.
Yeah, I think that, and also I think that's set up a really good test match, hasn't it? You know, over 100 runs, 3 wickets in the first session. You know, on a pitch that doesn't look like it's doing much at all. I think that's sort of the perfect setup for the rest of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want a couple of tweets before we disappear? Mog says maybe Harry and Meghan can take over the monarchy. They already act like they know everything. Ross McD tells us that centigrade and Fahrenheit gauges match at -40, and there was a certain amount of breeze as we were either high altitude too. Beautiful, but not an experience I'd like to repeat.
Yeah.
No. That said, I'd love to go to Antarctica.
Yeah, it'd be one place I'd quite like to go. That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it?
Very cool. And on that bombshell.
It's time for lunch. And because Dave was banging on about it so much, he wanted to hear Who's That Weirdo. We're going to play Who's That Weirdo. Episode 4, which was the Bumble episode, which was quite, it was fun. And we're going to give you that for lunch, and we will see you shortly after. I will be back straight after lunch. I'm on a lot today. Annie's going to join me after lunch. She's decided, some of these people get extra hours in bed. And Messers, of course, is in Perth. It's daylight over there, so it's fine. So we will show you in about 35 minutes. And until then, enjoy Bumble on Who's That Weirdo. See you in a bit. Bye.
See you in a bit.
Who's That Weirdo? Who's That Weirdo? Who's That Weirdo? Chris Harris, Kevin O'Brien. Who's That Weirdo?
Good morning, good afternoon, good dawn, good dusk, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Gorilla Cricket and the 4th episode of our big fat pod quiz. Who's That Weirdo? It's a test of skill, knowledge and overactive imaginations, separating the live cricketers from the dead cricketers and those who aren't cricketers at all but sound like they might be. I'm Gorilla Hendo, Nigel Henderson, and today's edition could be our most competitive yet. We welcome back, after her dismantling of Grubby 78 in their meeting 2 weeks ago, everyone's favourite county cricket matterer and natterer, it's Annie Chave!
Yay!
Hello! Tell us that you've got a new edition out, haven't you?
I've got a new edition out, edition number 13, which is unlucky for some, and it's a New Look magazine. I've got some youth to design it for me. A youth.
Have you seen it, Bumble? Oh, I've given it away. I was going to say, she's got it out today because she's up against cricket royalty. The man who's probably the most famous voice of the business, the man who's been player, coach, manager, umpire, eventually commentator. Ladies and gentlemen, it's only Bumble himself. Hello, Bumble. Welcome to Gorilla.
Yeah, I should never have done this in the first place. As soon as I knew it was Annie Chave that I'm up against, I know that I'm going to get the silver medal here. It's
now listen to Bumble. Surely, when you were manager and a coach of the England team, you didn't go into the dressing room and say, "Look, we're going to come second here." I need more positivity from you.
I'm a realist. I know exactly where I stand here. I will be doing my best, as they always say.
Right,
You're setting me up for a fall, Bumble, I'll tell you.
Man, it's reverse psychology, isn't it?
Reverse psychology. How can I compete? When I'll play the game.
She is remarkable. She is in so many ways. Anyway, what do you think, Bumble? What's your thoughts on the Test match and what's been going on in Pakistan? I did see that you've been a little bit under the weather, but did you manage to get to see much of the Test?
No, I don't have Sky, no.
Why would that be?
Yeah, well, I've been obviously I followed it, and I listened to Aggers a little bit, and Simon Mann, and it's quite remarkable. And the latest stuff that's come out from our captain, he said he might even declare before they've had a bat.
He might. I'm a bit worried that the fog is going to be so bad that he'll declare and no one will know.
We were up there. I've been to Multan. And I know that it can get foggy, and so they will lose some time.
Yeah, in the mornings and the evenings it looks like the first hour is going to be a bit tricky, doesn't it?
Oh well, that's good. Maybe I can stay in bed.
Yeah, stay in bed a little bit longer. That would that'd be fine, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What do you make, Bumble, of Joe Root batting left-handed? I mean, that's stealing your thunder a little bit, isn't it? Well, you're quite good at that.
This morning I've seen Jimmy Anderson bowling left-handed.
Really?
Yeah, Jimmy Anderson has bowled very acceptable left-arm spin this morning.
Wow! Do you think he's been taught by Jofra Archer? Because I remember seeing Jofra Archer was doing a bit of left-arm spin a couple of years ago as well. He might be less injury-prone if he bowled that.
The way I think that Jimmy has sort of kicked it on to Jofra.
Right. Oh, really? Okay. So Jimmy was he was the man who came up with the left arm spin, and he's coaching Jofra in the subtle arts. You were a left arm spinner, weren't you? So I mean, you might have some input there.
Yeah, and I perfected that. You know how they call them the shooter and the zooter and the this and the that. I had the gazonner.
Gazonner?
The gazonner, it's the one that goes on and doesn't speak.
Oh, yes, the gazonner with the arm, that one.
That's the one. That's the only ball. I didn't ball anything else, just the gazonner.
Not the gazunder, which is something else.
Goes underneath. Harrow's under the pitch.
I don't think you can go under the stump.
Anyway, moving on, I should sort of introduce the other member of the team that's here today, and that is, of course, Tony Bishop. He's alongside me. He's going to be giving us all sorts of info. He's the Osmond to my Armstrong. He's the yin to my yang, and he's my driver to the studio.
Not as
and here he is.
It is interesting.
Anyway, and he's not as interesting as any of them. Anyway, I will give everyone out there a quick read through of the rules, because I forget them halfway through anyway, so don't worry about it. If you get things wrong, we'll just laugh about it, and no one will be any the better. We'll claim that it was meant. Basically, contestants toss to start with and can elect a battlefield. Then the host, that's me, gives contestant A a name and a nationality, and contestant A has to decide whether they are a live cricketer, a dead cricketer, or not a cricketer at all, in which case they have to say, who's that weirdo? They get it right, and it is a live or dead cricketer. Contestant A then has to guess their current age or age at death for a bonus point, which they get if they are within 3 years. If they get it on the nose, they get 4 bonus points. If contestant A is wrong, the question is passed over to their opponent, who goes through the same process. If it is a weirdo, i.e. not a cricketer, age is not required, but you can take a wild guess at the source of their notoriety. It could be a musician, a poet, a businessman, businesswoman, weird record breaker, comedian, politician, etc., etc. So I'm going to toss, and I'm going to let our special guest of the day, Bumble, shout. I'm going to throw it up into the studio air. I'm going to drop it completely, and you can say your tails.
Heads.
It's tails, would you believe? Honestly. So Annie.
Always go tails, Bumble. Come on.
Yeah, should have done.
I always pick heads. I always called heads when I was captain.
Well, there you go. It's tails. So Annie, you can just choose whether to bat or bowl.
I'm going to go bowl.
You're going to bowl. So the first named person is going to go to you, Bumble. Are you ready? Are you steel for it? It's like Jeff Thompson just coming up and going wang. Terry Burrows, England. Live cricketer, dead cricketer, or who's that weirdo? Terry Burrows.
Terry Burrows, who's that weirdo?
You know him, don't you? You're absolutely right. You've got points already. Oh, damn it.
Oh, no.
Clever for us. Is Bumble. And you can have another guess for a bonus point. What does he do, Terry Burrows?
Was he No, I'm going to say a crown green bowler.
Oh, it's a good guess, but I'm not going to give you an extra point because it's not. He's actually the fastest window cleaner at the National Championships in Blackpool in 2009. Tell us a little bit more, Tony, about Terry Burrows.
Well, yes, I've been at great pains to make a few notes about him. He is, as you rightly say, the fastest window cleaner. He won in Blackpool 2009. Held in Blackpool, of course, to commemorate the 80th anniversary of George Hall, is when I'm cleaning windows. It takes Terry, known as Terry Turbo Burrows, less than 10 seconds